Welcome to Pauline's Place, everyone. I want to talk about a man who gave a lot to New Zealand, and particularly to families in the North Island of New Zealand. And his name is James Dilworth. So have a look at a picture of this, well, very ancient looking man. Looks rather wonderful to me. I didn't know him, but yesterday I've been to Dilworth School, and so I want to tell you a little about Dilworth School. Dilworth School for Boys, started by James Dilworth, came from Ireland in, I think, the 1830s and arrived in New Zealand in about 1841. And in 1906, a few years after his death, the Dilworth School was formed. It started with just 8 boys, 1 teacher, in James Dilworth's homestead. That's the beginning. And yesterday I went to the prize giving and the chapel service for the Year 13 boys. And I want to talk to you about that. This year, Dilworth School has been in the media, in the newspapers, not for good things, but because of a period with just a couple of teachers where child abuse and non-ethical approaches and relationships with students was part of its life, just a part. And it hurt some lives. And that was, of course, a big story in the media here in Auckland and perhaps New Zealand, because it casts a shadow on all boarding schools and church schools. And I know that probably most of what was said is true. And I think it's a part of almost all institutions, because as they might do amazing, wonderful things, they always harbour the dark side of some people's character who make a choice to use that dark side. So it's a part of history. And Dilworth School, I believe, handled it very well. And you can't undo the past, you know that. And the children of the forefathers can't keep paying for the sins of the past. They can just keep going and give their best and put things right in the present time. Well, I think Dilworth School's doing that. And I'm an outsider, but I've known many of the boys who've been there. I want to show you a clip from yesterday's farewell. It's the New Zealand haka, done by Year 12 students and down to Year 9 for the Year 13s. They are honouring them. It's a wonderful tradition, very moving. The prefects, the head prefects, talk about what the school meant to them. And so much of what they said was about family and gratitude. And you didn't sense in any way that this was something they had to say. Each of them said it in such a different way. Then the Year 13 boys, after this, formed a circle and just for a few minutes sang quietly and prayerfully for one another. And you can have a look at this while I'm talking, but have a few seconds. And now let me say to you, all of those boys have something in common. One, they board at the school. So there's no day boarders or day students. And then all of those boys have known some kind of hardship or struggle. James Dilworth said in his will that this school was to be for boys, for orphans, or for families who were in straitened circumstances for some reason or other. And what I love, he says, boys of any race. And it needed to be from families of good character. I like all of those things. And what he meant by the families of good character, among other things, was that someone would discern that the education for the boys in that family would be a top priority. Well, every school makes mistakes. I believe Dilworth School is punching above its weight. And the boys, many excellent in academic work, excellent in sport, music and art. They've been given an opportunity. And I thank God for the dream, the history of James Dilworth, because he gave so many boys, over 5,000 now. So say a prayer for all the young people in this country. Many of the families are in straitened circumstances, many. And I haven't met a parent who doesn't want their children to do better than them. Better in character, better in experience, and in education. The world really needs us to work hard for our young people. Say a prayer for Dilworth, and I'll see you tomorrow.